Egypt. There's no camels here. There is a horse, a hesp, Ott, behind me, a 3-year-old horse. I am here at Noah's Ark, nuh'un. We're at the visitor center. It's been a while. I'm glad to be back after the winter, and we're just checking on things before some of the tours come through and saying hello to friends. And you can see Arada, Mount Ararat, right behind me there, and Lesser Ararat right there. Um, I'm standing here in the parking lot. I'm going to change the camera view so that you can see what I'm seeing. And yeah, look, it's the visitor center that we renovated and keep it up to date. And we're actually doing some new things for it this year, this summer, thanks to the support you have given. And our sign is still up. We've I just found out from Nuri that an individual in Dole came up here a couple days ago and was complaining, saying, "Why did you give Andrew permission to build this here?" Like, what? And then they made up a bunch of things about me to try to get Nuri to turn on me. Yeah, well, don't want to dwell on drama. This is a beautiful day, so we won't ruin that. But yeah, it's a beautiful part of Turkey. I love this area. I checked on the sign to make sure everything is good, and we still have to plant the flowers in here. And we can put some of these wildflowers. It's really beautiful. We have these, what do you want to call them? But they're brown, brown and white. Just amazing looking flower. Most flowers are like a colorful, um, colorful color. Is that a word? Vibrant color. Oh, look what I see, guys. And the little thing is just sunbathing. He's a big, that's a big lizard. Let's zoom in. He's just getting his sun, the uh, the hot sun. It's kind of cool in the evenings here, and he's enjoying his view of the ark. Hey, Mark. I mean, your username is Saint Mark. I'm sorry if I don't remember your name. Uh, look at the view this lizard has. Sorry, I'll zoom out just a little more. Yeah, how you doing? Left looked like his tail got cut off. Left over from Noah's Ark. He stayed in the area. He didn't listen to God and go out and multiply. He said, "I'm going to stay here and multiply." Oh, anyways, so the sign is still here. What's cool, I always like looking at these. I don't want to get too close, scare the lizard. But these coral, fossilized coral here. And then we have this is a form. Oh, Sally, where are you? He's the geologist. We moved it here because it was not usual type of rock for this area. At first, he thought it was granite, but I think it's something else. He said now. Anyways, you can see the coral and the fossilization going on there with all the. We'll get a little closer, maybe you can see it better. Yeah, there you go. So this area, if now you're an evolutionist, this was called the Tetris Sea? Tetris? Not Tetris. So it was a sea. At least everyone agrees on that. Now, creationists will say that, okay, there was a sea, but maybe the whole world turned into a sea during the flood. And so what's left here are these shallow water coral pieces and other seashell that have been fossilized a valley over. But these big coral sections you'll find up above us at the base of the ridge. Hey guys, so it's kind of early in the morning in the US, but this will be archived. This is a public live stream, so anyone can watch it. Right now, it's just on YouTube. We're working on making this go live on all the other platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Um, so we're just kind of taking a stroll through the area. Now, we have some really good plans this year, but since this is a public live stream, we're going to save that for a surprise. And then when it's done, we'll say, here it is. And plus, as I started off this live stream mentioning that there are some people who like to screw with us. Hate to say that. So we just do our thing and keep quiet, and then later they find out about it. That's the way the world works these days. You got haters everywhere. But beautiful here, guys. Look at the ark. So in the fall, uh, hey, Robert, beautiful day here at Noah's Ark. Hope you're enjoying the west coast of North America. Um, but do you guys notice that there's purple flowers? You see over here that there's some purple flowers growing? And that's how good this iPhone 16 camera is. And when you go over the ark, it's just like this coating. It is actually purple. It's not a white, but they're just growing on the ark, the flowers. It's just amazing. It's kind of highlights it. Just like in the fall, you have the grass turning yellow, and that's why we did the soil testing last year because we noticed the grass color was different inside the boat versus right outside that edge. And so we said, "Hey, let's see what's going on with the chemistry of the soil." Uh, Hello. I actually met Ernie Knoll. I don't know who knows of him. I met him once. He's a big, tall guy, though. He lives in Sacramento. He did. He lived in that area. Anyways, so right up there is the Iranian border, and over here's the village of Uzungili. This is a beautiful late spring day. It's about the sunset's coming. You have the cows in the field. You have the wheat fields here, all green. Let me get you guys up here so you can just do a little walkthrough for those who watch us later. And we have a lot of new subscribers, so those who watch us later, they'll get a preview of what's it like to be here. Maybe someday you can physically come. So north of us is Mount Ararat, the traditional landing of Noah's Ark. It's a stratovolcano. I mean, you can see all the lava down there, or the beds. And we're going to get to that in a second. But here's our sign. I drew up on our Noah's Ark. Visitor Center. And it does light up at night if we decide to turn it on. You don't get tourists up here at night, so it's kind of pointless. And we save electricity, keep the bills low. We turn it off at night. But sometimes we turn it on just for fun. But yeah, look down there. So we're about 1,500 feet off the valley floor, 500 so meters. And where the ark is has 6,500 feet. Um, don't ask me what this was supposed to be. We're hoping to repurpose it. When they renovated the visitor center in 2017 or 18, what they did, they not only um, put all the wood paneling inside, they built these steps down here and they made this little platform. And they said they were going to make it a playground. When you're down in that area, you can't see much besides Ararat, so you can't see Noah's Ark. So we're gonna turn it into something else, hopefully. But anyways, I want to show you the view. Look at like you can barely see the mountains way over there of Armenia. So way in the distance, the line. Yes, we need to start that. You know, we bought Nuri the weed spray. I didn't even remind him. I totally forgot when I was out of the country to send him a message, and he needs the weed eat. But yeah, as you can see, we got weeds growing. They're staying low, but we would like to spray it. We'd like to buy some more spray too. Anyways, um, just seeing your guys' comments here. So why haven't they been able to dig? That's the $1 million question. The different reasons. Number one, they say it's too fragile to do a traditional. You know, it's a boat shape, and they don't want it destroyed. People come and take pictures of it. So we're trying different other methods to study it and understand the site without having to dig a big hole in it. We've offered ideas such as even doing a side tunnel, which is not traditional archaeology. Let me just walk right over here and we can talk about some of these questions. Um, so that's the main thing. So we've done chemical studies. We're going to do some more. We've done obviously geophysical studies like ERT. We didn't do those, but personally, but we did the GPR. I was around for the last two ERT scans in 2021 and 2014. So those are ways you can look into the ground. We'd love to do core drilling, so we'll see what happens this summer and next year. So we have a list of things we like to do. We'll just see when God opens the doors to do it. That was Mount Ararat. Let me just go back. You can see the view. So let me just say I'm looking south up there. These are low. You call them foothills or mountains. At the top, it's about 8,500 feet elevation, and that's the border with Iran. Some say this is basically called the Tinderic Mountains. There's another volcano, maybe 5, 6 miles that way, called Mount Tinderic. And but the rocks here, there are some volcanic rocks, but these are sedimentary rocks. You can see limestone, different types of limestone, especially up there on the ridge. That's all limestone rock, which is laid down by water and sediments. And there's rock outcrops here. There's a big rock in the middle of the arc. And one across, you see the rocks there, and a rock here. And this hill we're on. Actually, you see my camera. I'm doing a time lapse right now with the Pocket 3. I'll post that later. So we have the clouds kind of coming in, the wispy clouds. So it's going to be a beautiful sunset time lapse, about 20 minutes long for today. But you can see the rocks right there coming out. So this hill is on a rock outcrop, but it's sedimentary rock. Now, you can see the lava beds way over there. So that's, volcanic rock, obviously, and the different cones, and different eruptions. Now, all of that happened after the flood. None of that rock there is pillow lava. None of it erupted underwater, like what you see in Hawaii. Except for this rocks here. These rocks, they're underwater. They're laid down by sediments. So that's why you find fossils in them. And the type of stone here is not volcanic. But again, there are a mix of, you'll find volcanic rock in there, basalt, etc., um, mixed in this mud flow. But just want to show you guys this view without getting you seasick. I don't want to turn around so fast. We're gonna go inside. I don't have my jacket on. I want to show you again for the newcomers and those who just want to see what's like right now inside the visitor center. We do have some updates for that coming later. Again, I just got here actually yesterday, so just reconnecting and talking to everybody in person and enjoying some chai with them and just having a blast. So it's great to see everybody again, all my friends here and enemies. It's fun being this part of Turkey. Over there, by the way, is the border station. If you're going to drive into Iran, that's all the buildings for the border crossing. Now, as an American, that's not something I will try. Hopefully, someday. I love to go to Iran for the biblical history, and I heard the culture is amazing and the people are friendly. Just some problems with the government, so I'm not going to try it. Let's see. So now you can see we're just right below the building, which is on the hill, the visitor center. Now, this building was built in 1987, then renovated again in 2017, and then we took over it with the villagers and put everything in it and renovated the bathrooms and put in a little kitchen. And we fixed the roofing, and that was all done in 2022. And then every year after each winter, we come in and either repaint stuff or fix leaks and some things like that. So this year, there's a number of things we need to fix. And summer is coming. There was a Korean busload of tourists here. And then we just had 3 European ladies leave. So a lot of people come out here. More and more will, especially with the news about the Ark. So it's all in the news right now. Let's see. I'm just looking at some of your questions. I want to be the first man inside someday. Well, the Bible says about the first will be last. No, I'm just kidding. So, but yes, it'd be nice to stick a camera at least inside the cavities to see see what's inside. So if that happens, we get permission to do that. I don't know how the public that will be until we do it. But anyways, I'm inside the building, so it's a really nicely built building. You can see all the wood paneling from 2017, and then some of our posters, and we're replacing a number of them just to update them. We have a lot new information. For example, so when you come into this place, we present the history, and then we're going to read panel this, so it's not so big, but and get more information. And so this is Captain Drepanar. He was the one who actually found Noah's Ark. So people don't understand that part, and they assume we're dissing Ron Wyatt. But no, he actually found the Ark in 1959, September 11. And he really believed it was Noah's Ark. No one listened to him. It was published 1 year later in Life magazine. And that's when Ron Wyatt heard about it. And he came out here over 15 years later in 1977. It was Ron's first trip. So Ron gets the credit for really pushing this site into the public, especially the Western media's view. in the 80s and 90s, and then he passed away in 99. So we're just kind of picking up and doing more research. Nonstop. You can get as much data as you can from this. It's not to disprove anyone. It's not to make a name for ourselves. We just want to see what's here and do the best we can to present it. And so those who leave stupid comments on my YouTube videos, please don't. Anyways, so this is the boat. This is the actual photograph that Captain Drupinar saw. And come on, there are not a whole bunch of these. Every time there's a news story, someone puts out a video. Some creation groups, I won't name them, and they say, "Oh, there's a whole fleet of these. This is why it's natural. They're all over the place." No, it's not. This is uh, the only one boat shape that got their attention in 1959, and this was it. There are oval shapes and huge, long, uh, semicircle shapes and things like that on the mountain, around. Nothing like this, and nothing exactly the length of Noah's Ark either. So, this is again the 59 photographs that Captain Drupinar saw, and we misspelled his name. But anyways, this though is the low-flying airplane photo by Ara Güler, the famous Istanbul photographer, as he was known. I met him. Now, sadly, Ara has passed away too. All these people have passed away. Um, but what's interesting about his photographs, he took a whole series of them. A lot of them are not public. And I just went to the museum and talked to them again. It's one of the books I wanted is not available, but they've given us digital copies, thumb nail size images of these photographs he took, and I've seen the large version, high resolution on the museum archives computer screens. They wouldn't let me obviously take photographs or take copies because they don't want them out in the open. But he took many different angles of this formation, and they're really good because what it shows, just like what we see today, is that this formation was sitting in the mud flow. Everywhere around it was turning into rubble and moving, and even today it constantly changes outside. Inside, it doesn't change. Something's holding this site together. The integrity of the site's still there. It is still 515 feet long, 138 feet wide. This is not a natural formation of rock. You walk on it, you'll see it's dirt. The scans show it's dirt. There are layers, but it's not a solid block of rock like a couple of these scientists claim that it's one big rock that came down and then glaciers formed it into a boat over millions of years. So that was one panel. The other panel we talked about, oh, why would this be Noah's Ark? Like, is it in the right area? Well, it is in the mountains of Ararat, which in the Bible, that is actually the name of Ur too. That's where we get the English word. And we're right there. This kingdom had its greatest extent in the Iron Age, 7th century or 8th century BC. We're right near the borders of different countries. So you can see Armenia is up here, the northern Iran, and then the rest is in Turkey. And this kingdom covered the mountainous areas. So just like Moses wrote in Genesis, it's in the mountains of this kingdom of Ararat. So that's a good thing. It's not in China, not in Colorado. And then it's a boat shape. That's what actually got their attention was what is this boat shape doing on the side of the mountain? Now we're going to put up a display about what is Noah's Ark, a boat or a barge? Is it square, circle, round? What is it? So we get comments a lot from people who don't understand this, and they always say, "Oh, that can't be Noah's Ark because it's a ship shape. Why would Noah's Ark be a ship?" And when it didn't have to go anywhere, it just floated on the water, and so that means it's a barge, and the word ark is used, and the ark means barge. No, it does not. That word ark is also used when Moses was put into a basket, and there are many different styles of those arks in Egypt. I've put them up on our YouTube channel, pictures of them and videos. There's oval baskets, there are square ones, there are rectangular ones, there are round ones. So it had nothing to do with the shape, but the functionality. It was to preserve life and to store things. And so it has nothing to do with the ark being a ship shape or not. Now, was the ark ship shape? Now, Moses didn't write all the details. We know it had three decks, one window, one door. We know the height, width, and length. We don't know anything else. And so was it Moses describing the capacity, the internal capacity of this boat? Was he talking about the internal dimensions only? Like, what about the thickness of the hull? How thick was this hull? 2 feet thick, one, there's different things. So, based on the measurements we see today, we really believe it's the internal dimensions, and then the extra, what's outside was not included. And on top of it, ship shape actually is better in the open seas versus a flat bottom barge, which are shallow water vessels on the coast going upriver. That is what you see along like these ports and harbors. You take one of those vessels out in the open sea and there's a big storm, they will capsize. So no, the ark was perfectly preserved. Here we're talking about the size of it being 300 cubits long, and then some of the objects Ron Wyatt and others have seen here, believing that these are artifacts from Noah's Ark, not from a later period. But what I want to do is go over here and show some of these small photographs. Again, some of you've seen all this, but so this is the October 1959 Hayat magazine, which was the Turkish version of Life magazine. Hayat means life in Arabic and Turkish, and they had a full page spread. Really nice photograph. You get the glare. You can reach up there, and you can see the full mud flow or earth flow from the mountain. And there's the boat shape. You can see it stands out. It's not just one of many shapes on the mountainside. But here's some interesting. Here's a photograph from. Now we have a glare, but this one was taken on the ground. The American expedition that hooked up with Captain Durupbanar and the Turkish military. They came out here in June of '60, so almost a year later. And one of the guys, Wilbur Bishop, he took this photograph, and we have two of his photographs here. The other one, I'm not sure where it's at, but you can see on the ground how everywhere around the boat shape, it's rubble, the dirt of the landslide, earth flow, whatever you want to call it. But the ship shape is not like that. Here's a photo of Ron Wyatt. There's another story behind this photograph I'll tell you guys. Dr. Bill Shea gave that one to me. Now here's Dr. Salih Barak Tutan, and he's still around, and I'm going to see him very shortly. And anyways, he's retired now, but he's the geologist who's been studying this site. He did the GPR scans with John Baumgartner in 1987, and he was there for the attempted core drilling they tried to do in '88. And he's here with Captain Drupinar. So, and you can see Captain Drupinar was getting up there in age right there. Now, this is the 1960 expedition, Hyatt magazine. That was their article. And then this was the July edition. Now, the American September 5th edition of Life magazine, that's the one that Ron Wyatt saw, and it got him excited. And he came out here the next decade um, in 1977. And then here are different photographs of Captain Drupinar. I wish I've met him. He actually passed away, I want to say 2000, I don't know, 17, 18, or 19. This is one of Ara Guler's photographs. I really like this one. Here's some of our drone photographs. So what's interesting about these drone photographs, you can compare our photographs to Ara Guler's or what Durupinar saw in '59. Ara Guler's photographs were 1961. And they all show that this ship shape has stayed the same shape. There's erosion going on, but it stayed the same shape. But all the mud flows, you look at these older photographs, all that mud flow has changed every year. And so there's something internally that's keeping this site together. Let's see what you got before and after. I got some questions here. Let me just change the camera. You see what we're doing here, where we're going. Here's some. You guys can look at the rocks and look at your questions. These are mainly fossils. Yes, the Babylonian map. Yes, I saw that video and I read all the news when it first came out, and then of course the subsequent videos. That was really interesting because it actually shows from the area of Babylon they have Ur-2 just north, which that points you up to, of course, this area. Again, a region. It doesn't say Noah's Ark is right here where we're at. The map doesn't give you that. It just points to or two in the mountain north of Babylon. Let me scroll up. 2 years old. Wow. Don't date yourself there. Um, yes, we do have an idea. Because water, we're getting water from the village here, and in certain times of the month or the year, like late summer, they don't get a lot of water. But that's where we have a backup tank. So when tourists come, they can wash their hands and flush toilets and all that. But we like to plant flowers along those where that horse was at. Clean up. There's a lot of trash down there. We need to clean it up. But we want to plant stuff that will grow in this altitude, even if we have to plant it every year. But it'll be an amazing view for tourists to come up that road and see the whole country, like whole hillside covered in different flowers. So that would be a great idea. And I need to get some water. Anyways, if you come here, you can sign the guest book. We do have some other books we're going to put out. But we have Jim's book, Jim Sturduson, the Turkish film producer. Um, and another book that they wrote that they translated in English, and I helped edit it. But I like showing this fossil where you can see the coral. Now, we have a couple small ones that have disappeared. We really need a case because somebody likes to take fossils. We don't know who's stealing fossils. Anyways, we try to find more. But so you can see this nice. I like this one. And yeah, the more seashells. A lot of seashells. And they're different colors of just the type of rocks in the mud flow. Some greenish ones. And again, I'm not a geologist, but I think this is mudstone, this one, the reddish. And then we actually have some basalt. This is a funny story about this basalt. It's not from here. It's from Mount Ararat area at the bottom flow, and here's a big chunk right here. But everyone thinks it looks like it looks like wood. So they say, "Oh, this is from Noah's Ark. Look, you found fossilized wood, and it's extruded out of the lava um, as it was flowing down and hardened up, so it has this look." But it's basalt. And so the governor was here last year, and he was asking, and then he turned around and told, maybe I shouldn't tell this story, but he's saying, "Tell the tourists this is fossilized wood because it looks like wood, even though it's not." Solly brought that, the geologist. I'm not saying the governor was trying to scam anyone. I think he was joking. Anyways, so this flower just showed up. Nuri's hiding behind the camera, and he picked some of those strange flowers. And again, they're brown, or reddish brown and white, and they only appear in this area at a certain time of year. Maybe there's some areas of Turkey they're at, but I've only seen them here. I gotta be careful what I say because then someone's gonna say Andrew claims this flower only grows here, and then someone will say he lied to you. So this room is our media room. So when you come here, we can see a bunch of people. Um, and we have this nice big Samsung television where we play on a USB stick some of the films. We don't have Wi-Fi here. So yeah, I don't have a film going. It's this big black screen right now. But it was the best model they had in 2022. And it's a huge one. I think it's a 96 inch, or maybe not. Oh, there's some photographs here I can show. This is the other one I was talking about of and the light glares on the glass. This is again Wilbur Bishop. So we have two of his photographs. This is great because it shows at that time in 1960, that summer, the mud was change the angle here. The mud flow was just right up to the edge of the boat shape. You see, it's a totally different view. You have this smooth inside, but the mud flow that's all this rubble around it's right up to the rim of the boat, and now it's dropped away. So definite, and it's like popped out of the ground based on different earthquakes, not just one. It actually happened multiple times. We have Ron Wyatt's photo in here. God bless him for all the work he did here and all the persecution. And Darupanar, the man who discovered it. Anyways, let me just get back outside the room. So we're going to update that video. Oh, videos. The governor's office has asked us to make a new film, and we'll have it in Turkish and English. So we'll start filming that this summer. I think some of you know about that. We mentioned it last year. But yeah, so it'll be a new film in Turkish and English to show the people. I'm just going to grab a bottle of water right here. And you can look at this. This is the geophysical surveys that we've done over the years. The first one up there is Ron Wyatt and David Fazels. I think that was August of '86. Let's see. And then the other two that are marked here, those are that I organized in 2019. Yeah, 2019, October. And this is where we see the right angles, 7 meters down or 21 feet. And this section, so that's the bottom hill area of the boat. Let me just pull out here so you can see. That's the northwest valley, you can say. And then on the east side of that, just opposite, we were seeing right angles again and parallel lines about 9 feet down. This one we saw live on camera even before we processed the data. This we saw later after the American archaeologist processed the data for us and saw this. He said, "Wow, look at this." And he was saying this would be a good spot to excavate if we could do that. But we'll see what the plans are. Maybe core drill. And then we have the Ron White and Fazel. Now, I think they used a 500 megahertz antenna on that first try that got all these periodical reflections. I think there's like 12 or 13 of them. And the vice president of GSSI, an American company out of New Hampshire, I believe, he was saying on local television that this is not natural. You don't see this type of reflection below the surface, suggesting, even though that was kind of shallow, that there is something remaining down below the ground. That was about 75 feet, I believe, from the pointed top southern end of the boat, that general location. So very interesting. Again, all of this is like data that is being collected, and we have more planned that point into this object being unique and not just a raw, a mass rubble of rock and dirt and just random noise, but no, something inside the boat shape below the ground. And this is exactly what you expect to see from a wooden boat that decays thousands of years. Look at any other boat out there, the wooden boats from ancient Rome and Greece, Bronze Age boats, the Viking burial ships, Sut and Hu, and the ones in Norway, Sut and Hu's in England. These all decay away, leaving a footprint, a finger, a chemical fingerprint. You can say that in the soil. Sometimes there is wooden beams and there's artifacts left behind. So for those who are looking for a perfectly preserved boat in the ice on a volcano, no, doesn't exist. It's a fake news. Sadly, that's been spread around for so many years that people just can't understand how boats decay, what they would leave in the ground. And so we're looking at this type of microscopic studies and chemical studies. I'm gonna go down there, not today because it's getting close. It's almost o'clock, so sunset's kind of early up here in the mountains, and it's cold. I just got back from Jordan where it was nice and hot, so I am cold right now, but it's beautiful. So I'm gonna come down tomorrow. I'll have a special guest. I'll do another live actually tomorrow, about the same time maybe. If it's earlier, it'll be archived. The cows are mooing, but I'll have Dr. Salibarak Tutan. We're going to ask him some questions because we had and when the news came out the last month or so, we had a lot of news about Noah's Ark. We got a response back from well, not us personally, but people have been writing responses. Oh, do you guys see the rabbit down there? So if it moves, you'll see it. But we have people criticizing, saying, "Oh, this is that. This is a syncline. This is a block of rock. This was basement rock that's thrusted up right here." Geological explanations for the boat shape. And so we're going to have Solly, who studied the site the most since the early '80s, defend the site. So we're going to make a response video with him tomorrow. I might even edit it and add graphics and everything and do an upload, but I'll do a live stream with him. So it'll be nice. The rabbit has left. I think my time lapse is done. The shadows are getting longer. The wind is picking up. This is how it's like in the village life in eastern Turkey here. Our friend Nuri, who runs the visitor center, he lives up over there past that hill on this side. So I've stayed with him and his family many times over the years. Sometimes during the COVID pandemic, I was there sometimes 2 to 3 weeks, and then you just walk down to the arc site. It's so peaceful. Village life is slow, so it's nice. Um, anyway, this is the view I was getting with my time lapse. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first view of the arc from my channel for this season. We have a lot of things planned, and we'll ramp it up next month, especially. This month, we have meetings with different officials, and I'll just leave it at that. And especially, we have one next week, actually, a very important one. And they invited me. I didn't. I'm not. See, this is how it works. I say, God, whatever you want done, let it be. I used to worry about everything. Oh no, we need this done. We need that done. Now, if God wants this excavated, it'll be excavated. If He wants a meeting to happen, He will arrange it, and they will call me. And that's what happened a couple of days ago. Some professor called me from a university, and they said, "Present your project. We want to hear from you about what you want to do." And they said, "You are making so many good advertisements for Eastern Turkey." And they thanked me. And it wasn't even me who did this. No, God did it all. And obviously, these things just happen. People call me and say, "I want to interview you. I want to write a story about Noah's Ark." So all the glory goes to God, and we're thankful for what Ron Wyatt did in the past here and the others, Drupinar for spotting this object. And we're just continuing that legacy and that foundation. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to post this video of the time lapse later tonight, and we'll have more news tomorrow. God bless you guys. Now, how do